Are you ready to step up your party game? We got a French onion dip that's gonna take it to the next level. 4 different kinds of onions, caramelizing them all at home. Crackers, dip, obviously it's a yes, but even better than that, sliders. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chronicles of a Chef. I'm Scott Hamilton, and today we are going to take your French onion dip and give it the facelift that it needs and it deserves. No more packet, no more of that nonsense. We want to keep things really simple, but we're using 4 different kinds of onions. We're going to caramelize them. We're using fresh, we're using rich umami flavors, all packed into this delicious thing. And then we make a delicious slider out of it. Roast off some chicken, rotisserie chicken, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. You want to go beef, pork, all bets are off on this. Super easy Hawaiian rolls, bake them in the oven, get a nice crunch on it, and it's the perfect game day snack. Let's get cooking. All right, even though we're doing a dip focused situation today, we're gonna make some delicious chicken to put on our sandwich, do all the things. So, boneless skinless chicken thighs. Just toss this into a bowl. And this is the great thing about this whole thing. I'm gonna make some chicken because I have this chicken, I need to use it, all that fun. But really, you can use any chicken that you want. You can use rotisserie chicken, grilled chicken, leftover grilled chicken. Any of those things will be just fine, and it's gonna be delicious. So, hit it with a little bit of oil. Any oil will do. We're gonna use Whiskey Bent Fix All-Purpose Rub. Probably about a tablespoon or so. And then some Whiskey Bent Bird Dry Rub. I wasn't gonna go spicy, but then I thought about my children and figured I can make one side spicy and one side not. I have the oven set to 350 on a roasting situation. Like all things go, especially when you're doing dry rubs. The longer you can have it marinate and hang out, the better. But also going straight on is just going to be just fine, especially since we're gonna chop this up and throw it in a saucy goodness anyway. All right, we got our pan. Do non-stick liner just to make things easy. We're literally just gonna throw down our chicken. There we go. There it is. And it's about 1.5 pounds or so. But this is gonna go in the oven, and we'll get to our onions. I like to do, when I do caramelized onions, when it's like a caramelized onion thing, I like to use a variety of onions. I think that it helps develop richer flavors, more complex flavors. Also, color isn't going to be a huge factor because we're going to turn these into just this brown, mushy deliciousness anyway. So not really worried about the color, but I do like all the different flavors that they can all bring. Now, I am going to go 2 different angles of cutting on the onion because they will break down differently the way we cut it. So if you cut with the cells versus breaking the cells, there's also arguments about whether or not they make you cry more or not. I don't know any of that, because no solution to not crying has ever worked for me. Just powering through is the only way to go. But for the red onion, I am gonna go kind of like a rainbow like this to give me my little half moons. And I'm gonna go on the chunkier side. Again, we're gonna break these things down. We're gonna cook them. So I'm not worried about like really, really thin. And I want to make sure that we have some good texture. I'm gonna blend this all up. We're gonna do all sorts of stuff, but we want texture. We want to feel those onions. We want to taste the onions. We're gonna go a little bit thicker, not really worry about the size that we're doing. Okay, so there's our red onion. Now for our sweet onion. And I know that this like feels like a lot of onion. And when you see this big pile of onion, you're like, oh my gosh, that is so much onion. And you're right, it is a lot of onion. But I promise it's not like an insane amount of onions once we have them all broken down and caramelized. Oh no, I can feel the burn. That was a weird way that I just did that. That was not normal. Also, this is like, I don't really like you there, and you also. Just a little, there we go. Okay, now these guys, I'm gonna cut this way. So these are gonna be a little bit more stringier, the longer. They're gonna break down and cook differently because of the way that we are cutting through the cell structure of the onion. And that is what we want. It's gonna layer the flavors. I want a variety of texture. I want a variety of flavors coming out of all of these. Really, if you wanted to, you could have done like half and half of each onion each way. Throw those in. There's our onions. We'll put that there. Now we're gonna take our chives that are just so sad right now. We're just gonna do a nice hard chop all the way through down these greens. This is gonna get folded in and sprinkled on things, so it's okay. But again, we just want all the different kinds of onion flavors. The other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guy off. We're gonna caramelize these guys. It's more of like the whites of the green onion, the ends, the roots, more of the real like actual oniony side of things. All right, and we're just gonna, oh, I see you roots. Trying to sneak in there. We ain't about that. And I'm just gonna run my knife through these. We're gonna throw it in with our onions. There we go. So those are all gonna cook down together, minimizing our waste. Okay, next is we've got all these delicious chives. And the chives are a little bit more of a garnish vibe. I am just going to pick out some of these sad little guys here, mainly because flavor, and they like to be a little bit more rubbery, and therefore they won't cut as nicely. We don't want that. Okay, now, I'm not gonna sit here and worry about all the different things. This is gonna go into a dip and then into a sandwich. So I don't need a perfect cut. We are gonna want these relatively on the small side. Now, make sure that when you're cutting your chives, you're pressing all the way down and through. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with accordions. There is our our chives. All right. We got some thyme. We got some like really fresh thyme. This is some really soft stems. And because I'm gonna be cooking these down in the caramelized onions, I'm not too worried about these stems. But I am looking for about a tablespoon or so of our thyme. And the rest of these, it almost feels like I'm dealing with like sprouts. These would be great for stock, all that kind of stuff, but I'm not really gonna mess with those anymore. All right, now let's give ourselves a nice little pile here. We got our beautifully fresh thyme. There we go. All right, and now because it is gonna be a dip, onion and all that kind of stuff, of course, I still want some delicious garlic flavor happening in there. We're gonna do about 6 cloves of garlic, and we're gonna actually kind of caramelize and cook these down with the onions. We want that roasted, kind of rich, umami-filled flavor. So I'm gonna leave these kind of chunky, but we aren't gonna worry about it being a perfect mince. Because again, it's gonna cook down, it's gonna soften up, it's gonna be a great textural opponent in this dip, and we are gonna blend part of it, so it's gonna be okay. Now that we got that all out of the way, let's get set up to start caramelizing some onions. I'm using a cast iron skillet. You can use kind of any pan you want. The reason why I'm gonna go with my cast iron is 1, I think it's fun, and 2, because of the thickness of it's gonna retain that heat. So they're really good for both high heat and low heat cooking, because it's not gonna drop too low. When we put it on that lower temperature to just kind of cook those onions down, this is gonna continue to do a great job of maintaining a really good, solid, consistent temperature. So I like that. Stainless steel would work great as well, but when I saw this, also gives me some nice high walls for the amount of onions that we're gonna start with, so it's gonna be great. First things first, we're gonna start off with about 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna get that in the pan and start melting. Right now I'm on like a medium-high heat. I really wanna make sure that we have a nice, fully heated up pan to put all of our deliciousness in. So we're gonna let this butter melt, and then we'll get our onions in. Okay, our butter is browning slightly, which we don't necessarily want. Not a bad thing. I think it'll be delicious. But we're gonna throw in our onions. See what I mean by we have a nice big mound? This isn't a situation where we need the onions to be fully spread out. We want these to kind of cook down slowly. We want them to steam and their juices to just kind of slowly come out and to cook themselves in it and to caramelize all those bits of deliciousness of the onion. We're gonna hit it with some salt. Heavy amount of salt. We're gonna salt this probably a whole lot more than you would expect because of how sweet this is, and we wanna make sure that we're building those layers of salt. The other thing that we're gonna do right now is we're gonna give it a pinch of thyme just to get that thyme layers kind of going. Oh yeah. I know that there are some recipes out there that are like crock pot and you can let it sit. I am a true believer in you gotta stir the onions. You gotta make sure that you're rotating them. You don't want anything to get too caramelized and get closer to that more crisp caramelized. You want really soft, broken down caramelization. So yes, it can be done in a crock pot. Yes, it can be done on like full high heat, small amount of onion, go really, really fast. Shoot the system, throw some brown sugar, a little to help all that process up. But we're looking just to kind of really cook these guys down. And as you can see, they're already starting to soften up because of that steam. And that's why I like doing a pile of onions. As you can see, we have that steam. We can cover up those holes, try to cover that up. That way, all that steam is just cooking everything up on top, and it's cooking in its own steam. This is anything that's steaming up off of this is onion flavor. So we want to keep that all packed in there as much as we possibly can. Lids are great in this situation. I'm not going to use a lid just because of filming. So, oh yeah. Oh man. Oh, if you love onions, this is for you. Oh man, look at that. All that chicken juice is looking delicious. Let's check the temperature on it. 186. So yeah, we were in there about 15 or so minutes. Ooh, 166. We're good. 165. So these are good on temperature. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take all this chicken juice, all that fat runoff and everything. We're going to let it hang out in there. We're going to set these off to the side to cool down. And oh, these are going to be delicious. Although I might just... What? Oh yeah. Money. You don't need the chicken juice. But it's one of those things where you have it, it's kind of just go to waste just sitting over there. So we might as well use it and use it for a purpose of building more flavors. This is now going to pair even better with that chicken when we put it onto the sandwich. But even just like when you're eating this by itself with your chips and whatnot, oh, this is going to be phenomenal. Oh yeah. We're poaching about a third of the way through. So we're going to use that as an opportunity to add some more fresh green. Again, just trying to build that thyme flavor throughout the dish. We're also going to add about half our garlic. There we go. And let that kind of cook into it. And why not? We'll throw a little pinch of green onion, pinch of chive. Again, we got like 4 different onions. 5. Garlic, I think, is in the onion family technically. I'll double check that. But we have like 4 or 5 different kinds of onions in this. I mean, this is a onion heavy, onion rich dish, and I love it. Ooh. Because I've been stirring, I can keep this on a higher heat. So that means we can speed up the cooking time. Now, if I had it on a nice low heat, we can slowly do this, come over and stir it every minute or so. Instead, I'm going to kind of constant stir it and keep it on a higher heat. We're going to get a similar result, just a little faster. Okay, we're starting to have things stick on the bottom, which I don't really want. So we're going to lower the temp down to closer to a medium heat rather than medium high. And because we're getting some sticking on the bottom of this pan, we're also going to do a splash of apple cider vinegar. So splash just to kind of help deglaze the pan a little bit, release some of that fond. Also, that acidity is going to help break down the onions. It's also going to help brighten up this dish. And so we're going to want to keep doing apple cider vinegar throughout, just to kind of help the cooking process and the end flavor. The other thing that we're about to do is we're going to add another tablespoon of butter. About there. There we go. And with the vinegar, with the butter, even though it is salted butter, we are going to hit it with a pinch of salt. Getting stringy. Look at the color changing. Oh man, that is beautiful. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, we're about almost halfway through, and you can see the red is really muted. Everything's starting to get really translucent. We're starting to get more of like a golden brown rather than those original onion colors. And that's what I was talking about. I was like, where it's like we're not adding the different colors of onions for different necessarily variations of pops of color. It's all about that flavor that we're building up. But look how stringy it's all becoming. They're softening up beautifully. I lowered the temperature down. We're now at officially like a medium heat, because now we're getting to that point where we want to start slowing that cooking down. So we've got a really good softened up onion now, and now we're just looking to really kind of slow that cooking down and really build that depth of flavor. So we're just going to slowly keep cooking these guys down and get them nice and rich and delicious. Look how much further down. This used to be sticking up over the top of the pan, and now we're, you know, just under halfway of that pan, and now it's just this beautiful onion cake. I bet you could throw some delicious batter in here and make a phenomenal onion cake out of this. Woo! I would say that most people take their caramelized onions to here, and they're like, all right, we've got a good caramelized onion. Further. We want to go further. And I promise you, it'll be worth it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna add an extra pinch of thyme. We're gonna leave the rest to fold in at the very, very end. And we're also gonna add the rest of our garlic. Doing that left-handed was weird. All right, here's all of our garlic now. Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna go ahead and pull these off to the side. You give this guy a splash of apple cider vinegar. Really stir that guy up. All right, now we're going to turn it down to medium-low heat. And probably this is as far down as I'm going to go temperature-wise. Oh, this smell is intoxicating. It also makes you just want to make French onion soup now. Look at the color change now. That color is such a different color than when we started. All right, let's give one a try. That is good. They still have a crunch to them, which we want to soften that crunch just a little bit more. But flavor-wise, umami and sweet, and then you have a little bit of a bite from the apple cider vinegar, but also there's a little bit of a bite from the onion itself. That's delicious. Oh yeah, team. Now, you may be tempted to stop here. Wrong. Keep going. It'll be worth it, I promise. You see that? Okay, do this, ready? Put something here and whoop, it cuts right in half. Oh, not even connected, love it. So we're gonna do one last little bit of apple cider vinegar reduction. We're gonna crank up the heat to about a medium-high heat for this specifically. Drop that apple cider vinegar in there, let it start to do its magic. Give that a nice stir. Oh man. Oh man, and I like that we have a variety of textures happening. Right, some really, really long, stringy, super soft guys. We have some wide, thicker, chunky dudes that are nice, have some nice texture to it. Oh man, here we go. Whoop. Don't want to lose you, that's for sure. All right, gonna throw in the last of our time. A last pinch of salt. Whew, try not to cry. Here we go. I'm gonna kill the heat because I think that the apple cider vinegar is as done as it's gonna be. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our chicken. So those in this bowl over here. Oh man. We're gonna throw these onions directly onto this pan. Spread it out nice and thin. Throw it into the fridge so that they can cool down quickly. We don't want hot onions to go in with our sour cream and buttermilk and all the other things to make the dip. We don't want to soften that stuff up. We want this to stay cool and everything. So we're gonna just like a nice thin layer and let this cool. We're gonna throw this in the fridge. We're gonna go ahead and chop up our chicken to get it ready to go into our sandwich and everything. Ooh, oh, it's so tender. Oh, so delicious. Okay, beautiful thing is we're just gonna run our knife through this. Again, if you had grilled chicken, same situation. If you had rotisserie chicken, just pull it. Think like chicken salad, maybe a little smaller, so that it holds really well on the sandwich. You do a shredded chicken, really whatever you want. I like the texture of this. It's gonna feel like more kind of steaky and, oh man, there we go. And we're gonna throw this in the fridge too, just to kind of keep it cool. All right, onions are looking good. We're gonna just kind of get them out of here. We're gonna do a rough chop on these, as well as a blend on some of them too. We're gonna get all that. And I think we're just gonna keep using this pan and let all that flavor. Delicious. We'll cook the sandwiches with that. We've got our pile of delicious onions here. Oh, we'll go about half or so. I'm gonna take this half, since we're gonna blend it, there's no point in running my knife through it. Just go ahead and throw it into our blender cup here. There it is. Top with the top. Oh man, that is delicious. Okay, and we're just gonna run my knife through. I really want this closer to like a mince, but it's okay for it to be a little chunky. I am liking this size and texture. I feel like you'll be able to get good texture on your chip, cracker, whatever you're gonna dip this in or dip with this. So we're gonna go ahead and just put this guy in here. And again, if I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is too much. Let's blend more of it up. We absolutely can. All right, there we go. Into our delicious blender here, bottle here. We're gonna do this entire 14-ounce thing of sour cream. Just gonna do the whole thing. And please don't buy the light. For a second, I was like, oh no, did I? I didn't. You're okay. We're also gonna do about maybe a tablespoon or so of horseradish. Put that in there. We'll let that play kind of as we go. Then we're gonna do Bonneville seasoning from High Desert Kitchen. Nice and herby, that allspice. All these flavors are gonna go really, really well with our caramelized onions. If you don't have Bonneville, it's okay. You can go ahead and just use any kind of herby blend. Italian seasoning will be great. We're gonna do about a tablespoon of this as well. And then, to help soften it up, we are gonna do probably about a tablespoon of buttermilk. And maybe that's closer to a quarter cup. I went with buttermilk instead of regular milk for two reasons. One, I wanted that tang. Regular milk would have given us the thinning that I'm wanting, because I want to be able to really get a chip in there and not have it break. I don't want it too thick and clumpy. But also, this buttermilk's gonna give us a good tang. And then also, I'm gonna have to do fried chicken or something. They didn't have a smaller container, so we're gonna have to figure out something with this buttermilk. But let's get this. Oh, it smells so good. Blending. We're gonna go with a spread. I'm already so happy with the buttermilk addition. This is like a nice dip consistency to me. You can put it on things, it'll thicken up, cools down, gets in the fridge, it'll set. Oh man, that is out of this world. Ah, I love when experiments come true. I don't think we need to blend it down any further. I think that is looking beautiful. I think we're just gonna go ahead and pour this guy right into here. I think that this will serve as a much better mixing option. I think this bowl will be okay to store, especially after I use some of it, but we want to break up all those guys there. Oh man. Oh yeah. Now the chunks in there, kind of smash them down a little bit onto the bottom and the sides of the bowl, just trying to break up the clumps of our caramelized onions so that they're kind of a little bit more evenly distributed. Maybe a bunch of these chives, probably a third, 2/3 of the chives, just so that we can have some of them for a garnish on our sandwich and whatnot. And same with our green onions. Now we've got fresh green onion, we got fresh chives, caramelized onions of multiple varieties. This is an onion dip. Onion forward, onion focused. Everything about this is screaming onions. Let's go make a sandwich. All right, so we got our chicken. We're gonna add about a half cup or so of our onion dip. Maybe just a little bit more, we'll see. We'll see how that looks and feels here in a second. Just gonna give that a toss. We want this just to kind of be like, think a chicken salad, but the onion dip is the dressing. Ah, that is winning. So, that's killer. Whoa. All right, we're gonna do a little bit more. I think this is gonna end up being closer to more like 2/3 of a cup now. All right. The rest of this sandwich now. We got a nice little loaf roll thing of our sweet Hawaiian rolls. And this is like perfect for game day. This is perfect for parties, any of those things. This is gonna be a perfect little slider appetizers, super easy. You're already gonna have a French onion, you obviously already want an onion dip out, so you might as well have something delicious. So we're gonna add we're gonna take our pan that we're just building flavors left and right from. We're gonna throw the rest of those green onions in here. And if I wasn't doing this, I would absolutely put all of this onion into the dip. Now we are just going to spread this chicken out. So good. I just don't think there's enough onion. Crispy onions. It's gonna be a way for us to add some texture and obviously some more flavor to it. We're gonna go throw some crispy onions here. And I like it spicy. We'll do half with the jalapenos. Again, texture, flavor, extra. Oh, yeah. Look at that giant one. I'm gonna throw this guy over the top. Give him a little soft press. Set him to the side. We're gonna make a little like butter topping thing on it because that's what you do with these sandwiches. These like baked Hawaiian roll thingies. So we're gonna add a little bit more flavor. Use up the rest of our chives. Let's get going. All right, we're gonna use the remainder stick of butter that we had, like that. I'm gonna melt this up. This is what I'm talking about. All right, 350, about 15, 20 minutes or so. We're just really looking to heat everything through. Let's go. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it smells good. I'm stoked. I don't remember which side is the spicy and not. It's kind of spin around, but this little spatula that my mom has, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna cut this corner. Put that guy out. Oh, smells so good. You can hear a little crunch on it. Oh man, okay. Not spicy side. Spicy side's over here. We obviously have to try both. Oh, that's lifted. Oh, look at those spicy jalapeno things. Oh man, it smells delicious and phenomenal. Ooh. Put that guy over there so I don't burn myself on it anymore. While these cool off and I don't burn my mouth, let's look at our onion dip and see how it's doing. Now, it's sat in the fridge for about 15-20 minutes, and look at that consistency. That is like the perfect onion dip consistency. So we're gonna load this guy up because I want to double dip without any judgment. So I'm gonna give myself my own little bits. Here we go. All right. I just have Triscuits because that's what I had in my pantry at the time. See, double dipping, no judgment. That's what's up. I love the richness. I love the tang. The buttermilk loosened up everything perfectly so that you can dip it on your chip, but it's not going to break, but it still can stand up and things. So it has a good amount of volume and mass to it, but it's not going to just like destroy every chip that goes into this dip. The other thing about it, all those different onion flavors. We got fresh onion, you got caramelized onion, you got caramelized red, the sweet, so there's extra sweetness, and then there's the red, which has a little bit more bite to it. The apple cider vinegar is really, really fruity. There's this extra sweetness kind of notes in the background. The horseradish is just right. I didn't put any black pepper in this. So the horseradish is really, really like the only place that there's gonna be heat. There's some black pepper in the Bonneville seasoning and some red pepper flakes. That's adding a little heat to it. But you get this like horseradish, and again, it's like more of like a fresh cleansing kind of veggie heat, along with those like fresh onion of the chives and the green onion, all really bright and fresh and delicious. And then the chunks of onion is just like perfect, like you're just biting into these beautiful caramelized onions, and having it all on a chip. This right here, game day favorite. Oh man, wings, cheeseburgers, sliders. Options just continue to skyrocket for this thing. Oh man, lamb. Oh, this would be so good on some lamb. Oh my goodness, lamb lollipops from that. Oh yeah, happy with that. All right, let's talk this slider. I've been snacking on it and I'm just like loving it. But that is so good. The crunch on the bun and the sweetness and all those flavors are just so phenomenal.
And then you get into the chicken. Chicken was cooked perfectly, nice and tender, but even if it was a little dry, all that onion dip is just gonna soak into it and make it so juicy and delicious. It's not falling apart like crazy like I thought it was going to, which is really, really awesome. I mean, obviously bits and pieces here and there, but overall it's a win. The fried onion on it gives it this beautiful extra crunch to it, and there's an added onion flavor. So like if you don't like onion, I'm sorry, this is onion in your face. Now for the spicy one, oh yeah. The jalapenos aren't too much spicier. It's not like it's gonna make it, oh my gosh, this is so hot, I'm dying. Now, do I think some like a buffalo chicken in here, or a hot chicken, or a hot honey chicken, or some sort of spicy harissa chicken tossed into this for some heat to balance out with the rich creaminess of that onion and the sweetness of the French onion dip? Oh, that could be killer too. Either way, I am very, very happy and so excited to make these on my next big game day or party or whatever I have. These are a simple thing to make, super easy, and you can do big batches of this, which is, I love that too. But man, that is so good, so good. Thank you so much for watching. This was a blast. I hope that this dip makes it into your rotation. I hope it inspires you to make some more dips for yourself at home and lean less on the already made stuff. They're super easy, they're super fun, and it's super versatile. You can use it on all sorts of stuff. This is gonna be a great spread. There's all sorts of options. Either way, thank you again for watching. Like, subscribe, do all those fun things. Comment down below what your favorite party or your game day snack, appetizer thing that you make and you bring that you're known for. Let me know down in the comments and see if we can also up the game on that too. We'll see you next time.